Tonight on CTV News at 6, an Edmonton Community League does what the city won't. A neighborhood solution after travel becomes treacherous in a school zone.
It seemed like an unacceptable situation, and anybody who could step in to do something about it should.
A city councilor claims harassment over snow removal.
Using disinformation to incite rage in folks, that has a direct translation to the safety of us and our families.
And
it's nice, but it's probably going to take some time to get used to.
And you look for an Edmonton icon.
Well, cold air started to drop in through the day today. It looks like the coldest days so far this winter are coming for tomorrow and Friday.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. With snow removal problems piling up, some Edmontonians are tackling slick situations themselves. In central Edmonton, a community league says it had to pay a contractor to clear what it called a dangerous windrow outside an elementary school. CTV's Evan Kenny is there tonight. Evan, take us through the problem and how it was solved.
Well, Jeff, snow was piled high along this street after graders came by and cleared the road. Now, that snow has been piled up in a field across the street from me. The Community League says it asked the city for help, but even though there's signs just like this one scattered around the school, the city says that because there was no clear signage, the situation was out of its control. Just after 4 a.m., a front loader cleared away windrows in front of John A. McDougall Elementary School. Windrows the city would not clear itself. So the McDougall Community League used the rest of its rink budget to pay for a plow.
I went and checked it out and walked over it. It's shards of ice, sharp and slippery, and you know, grandparents helping their kids get over it. It seemed like an unacceptable situation, and a situation where anybody who could step in to do something about it should.
Parents call it a clear safety hazard.
Just watching other kids fall, knowing that it could have been my son is extremely dangerous. Like, they could have hit their head, and just knowing that it wasn't anything to do with the school's fault.
At some schools around the city, the snow is completely gone. Others we visited, like Lenora, have similar snow piles, but nothing like the windrow formerly outside of McDougall. Now the piles are clear, but it remains on the minds of parents.
No parking, school bus pickup zone. It seems like that would be a fairly clear indication that that area should be accessible for all sorts of kids who are actually trying to get on and off the buses.
The city declined an interview with us, but in a statement it says, while we appreciate the community's efforts to address local issues, the city must also advise residents and community leagues who hire third-party contractors to clear snow on public streets may be held liable for any resulting damage to city property, and that work done requires a permit. Jeff?
All right, Evan, thank you. It's Evan Kenny live tonight. City Councilor Aaron Rutherford says a recent social media post about the current parking ban crossed the line from criticism into harassment. She issued a press release condemning what she says is a troubling trend.
Using disinformation to incite rage in folks, that has a direct translation to the safety of us and our families. That's what I'm seeing now, that even 4 years ago I wouldn't have experienced to the same level.
This is the post that inspired the councillor to speak publicly. Rutherford says it falsely claims she violated the neighbourhood parking ban while showing her family home. She's okay sharing the picture now because it's already circulating. City staff say snow clearing crews have been getting abuse from the public, including threats and a shovel thrown at a plow. Councillor Mike Elliott is a former police sergeant. He says one factor police use to determine whether an action constitutes criminal intimidation or harassment is how it makes the victim feel.
When you start living with looking over your shoulder all the time, and that creeps into, that can cause the anxiety, that can escalate further and further. That's what can meet the threshold here about the intimidation and the harassment aspect.
Mayor Andrew Knack issued a statement condemning the abuse to city staff and councillors, calling for civility, accountability, and respect. Police have arrested and charged a man with sexual assault. He's accused of squirting an unknown substance on women at different stores around West Edmonton. Police began investigating after a woman said this happened to her while she was riding an escalator at West Edmonton Mall in late November. Investigators say a man followed several women in a similar way around the mall for about 90 minutes that day. Police say similar incidents also happened at HomeSense in Mayfield Common and Costco on Winterburn Road. 28-year-old Jensen Jeffrey has been charged with 3 counts of sexual assault. He was released from custody and is not allowed to visit any shopping malls, possess any weapons, or leave the province. The province says 2025 was a record year for housing starts in Alberta. Last year's 53,000 starts are a 14% increase over 2024, which was also a record year. More than 21,000 were in Edmonton. The province says almost a quarter of all the housing starts in Canada were here.
We set out to make housing more affordable and to make sure that there are homes for everybody to live in. And when you see rent numbers and cost of housing go down at the rates that we've seen, that is a proof point that that strategy is working.
The province says the building boom has been good to renters, with prices decreasing more than the national average. Nearly 20,000 purpose-built rentals started in Alberta last year. The iconic University of Alberta Butterdome is getting a makeover. As Nariman Issa explains, the sports complex is staying gold, but also going green.
We're excited to see the face of this landmark get the lift that it needs.
Commonly known as the Butterdome, the Universiade Pavilion is getting a new look. Its iconic butter yellow exterior is being replaced. The revamped sports complex will be a mix of green and gold, drawing from the school's colors and the nearby River Valley in the fall. A lighting feature resembling the North Saskatchewan River will brighten the exterior.
There's a nostalgia with the Butterdome, right? The old yellow building, the existing yellow building, and we think that this design is inspiring and should raise that excitement.
The Butterdome was built for the 1983 Universiade Games hosted by Edmonton. It's now a multi-purpose sports facility and a community hub, hosting big events such as Remembrance Day ceremonies and the annual Butterdome craft sale.
There's going to be periods yet to be completely defined when there'll be partial or full closures over the construction period. We're going to do the very best that we can to minimize those.
The renovations aren't just for vanity reasons. One key component of this renovation is student safety. Because of the building's curved design, every winter scaffolding goes up to protect students from falling ice. The school says the Butterdome has seen its fair share of flooding, rusty pipes, and other engineering issues due to its design. The new design will fix that and incorporate sustainability measures.
The rooftop will be covered in solar panels that will generate about 1,000 megawatt hours per year.
U of A students give the new design a passing grade.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it looks kind of cool. I like the color and the overall structure of the building.
It's nice, but it's probably going to take some time to get used to.
This will cost $27 million, mostly funded by provincial grant. It's expected to be complete by fall of 2027. Nariman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
City Council will soon consider a $6.5 million grant for the Winspear to make up for lost parking revenue at the Music Centre. The Winspear used to earn nearly $600,000 a year from parking. It's building a new parkade as part of an expansion project. The new garage is only accessible through a connection to the parkade underneath the city-owned Century Place. It was supposed to have 142 parking stalls, but will now have half that number, limiting how much money the Winspear can make from parking. The stall reduction is to accommodate a plant for the downtown district energy system required by the city.
There was a time in which we had a model that had 300 stalls, but that's before district energy was contemplated. And then we've been having to adjust ever since in order to make the district energy plant possible, because we are an ideal location for it.
While the city is not legally obligated to compensate the Winspear, the mayor says it's important to support a nonprofit that contributes to Edmonton's culture and economy. The money would come from the city's reserve fund, which is already strained. Council will discuss the grant next week. The Alberta Teachers Association says a recent survey is raising red flags about the state of classrooms. It was done about a month after the province used the notwithstanding clause to end last fall's nearly month-long teacher strike. Miriam Valdez-Carletti joins us now. Miriam, what are teachers saying?
Well, Jeff, the survey found teachers are facing record high levels of stress. It points to increased classroom sizes and more students with complex needs, creating a heavier load for teachers. The survey heard from more than 5,300 teachers, or about 10% of our province's educators. Of those who participated, the results showed 95% of teachers feel stressed, and 94% are pessimistic about the future of the teaching profession. ATA President Jason Schilling says the use of the notwithstanding clause in classroom challenges has demoralized teachers. He says the problems aren't new and the province has failed to make any changes since teachers were forced back to work.
Teachers and school leaders are not asking for sympathy. They're calling for real solutions, including staffing and other resources that match the conditions that they are facing every day. The government cannot continue to pretend that class size and complexity do not matter.
Schilling says the ATA is unable to bargain until 2028 when their agreement is up. The province says it's hiring 3,000 more teachers and 1,500 educational assistants to help reduce workload. Schilling says 86% of teachers indicated no extra staff have been hired at their schools yet. The margin of error for the survey is 1.5%, 19 times out of 10. And the province says growing classroom sizes are due to out-of-control federal immigration policies. It says its classroom complexity and classroom size cabinet committee is reviewing real-time data to place teachers and EAs where they're needed most. Jeff?
All right, Miriam, thank you. Miriam Valdez-Carletti live for us tonight. The city's extreme weather response is now in place. The response is designed to help people get out of the cold conditions. Recreation centers and libraries will be open for anyone who needs a place to warm up. The response is expected to stay active until next Wednesday. If you see someone outside who needs help, you're asked to call 211. All right, some of the coldest days we've seen in a bit, Josh.
Yeah, you had a couple of days in the early to mid part of December where daytime highs were around -20 and mornings were in the -25 to -30 range. That's what's coming for tomorrow and Friday. I think it'll be fairly short-lived, but it is going to get really cold here, especially compared to where we've been for most of the last week and a half to 2 weeks. Temperatures started to cool through the day today. We started the day at -5. We're now at -12 in downtown Edmonton. Got a little gusty around lunchtime. That wind is backed off, and right now we're looking at wind about 10 kilometers per hour, so -17 wind chill downtown. A little stronger south of the city. -13 feels more like -20. At the airport. -5 will go down as the daytime high for today, but through this afternoon, for most of the afternoon, we were around -10. So it was about a handful of degrees colder than average today, and will be about 15 degrees colder than average tomorrow and Friday. Partly cloudy skies across the Edmonton area. There's a little bit thicker cloud cover off to the southwest and northeast of the city, so we'll call it occasional cloudy periods for the rest of tonight. No cold warning for the city of Edmonton, but in northeastern Alberta, wind chill in the -40s overnight tonight, tomorrow morning, and then again tomorrow night into Friday morning. Actual temperatures will be well into the -30s. Here in the city, not quite that cold. We'll drop to about -17 by tomorrow morning, and temperatures will continue to fall through the day tomorrow in the -20 range by lunchtime and early afternoon. You notice the wind stays fairly light, so there's your saving grace. No significant wind chill in the city tomorrow. Take a closer look at that little warm-up on the way already by Saturday, Sunday in just a few minutes.
Sounds great. Thanks, Josh. The Edmonton Oilers missed another opportunity last night to win 3 games in a row for the first time this season. The Oilers' longest winning streak this season remains 2 games after losing 2-1 against the New Jersey Devils. We'll have a chance to start a new streak tomorrow when Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins visit Rogers Place. While Crosby and Connor McDavid will be competing against each other tomorrow, they'll be teammates for Canada at the Winter Olympics in just a few weeks.
It's nice to answer a question about playing together as opposed to always, playing against them. My idol growing up, so to be able to play with him and represent our country together on the biggest stage, it's exciting.
I'm very excited to see that. The Olympics with the best players is overdue, and think about McDavid, who's closing in on 30 years and hasn't got to play in the Olympics yet, is not fair for all the hockey fans out there who should be able to watch that.
Tomorrow night could potentially be Stuart Skinner's first game at Rogers Place since being traded to the Penguins for goalie Tristan Jarry. Still to come on CTV News at 6, freeing up bed space in Alberta hospitals.
Long-term, our goal will be to make sure there's nobody in the hospital longer than 30 days.
What work the province says it's doing behind the scenes and why it thinks the state of emergency doctors are calling for would do nothing. Also ahead.
What we're finding is that our environment that we live in and the foods that we eat has become very sterile.
A new initiative is outlining benefits of putting fermented foods on your plate.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Alberta government says moves are underway behind the scenes to clear a backlog of patients in acute care beds who should be moved to different units. Meantime, doctors and unions are calling on Albertans to share their experiences in hopes of pushing the province to move quicker. Connor Hogg has more.
Assisted Living Minister Jason Nixon says the province's healthcare approach is making meaningful change to Alberta's acute care system.
Some of the people we found early days that have been stuck living in acute care beds for years, not months, years, inside the wrong space. We don't have anything like that taking place inside our hospitals no more.
His comments come after a document compiled by doctors was leaked. It showed a number of deaths and near misses in emergency rooms over a 2-week period. Nixon acknowledges there is still work to be done to free up bed space by moving persisting patients to specialized facilities.
Long-term, our goal will be to make sure there's nobody in the hospital longer than 30 days, and ultimately that the vast majority of people are discharged within 72 hours.
Nixon also says the state of emergency doctors are calling for would do nothing to accelerate work that is already underway.
The messaging that has been put out by this government and the ministers himself, stating that they have all the tools to fix the health care, then why is that not happening?
Alberta's CUPE president, Raj Uppal, says patients in overcrowded emergency rooms aren't seeing changes fast enough. CUPE represents healthcare workers, including LPNs, and healthcare aides, assistants, and housekeepers. It started a website asking Albertans to share so-called hospital horror stories.
We're able to raise the alarm bells and provide a platform for our members and Albertans to reach out to this government.
Realistically, this isn't a partisan issue. This is an issue that affects every Albertan, regardless of the political stripes.
Emergency physician Scott McLean says bed space alone isn't the whole problem. He says many patients aren't coming to the hospital when they should because of the long wait times and winding up sicker than they would have been.
I've seen patients with a heart attack wait 2 or 3 days to come in, patients with appendicitis that by the time they come in, because they thought it was going to go away, the appendix is perforated, and now the surgery is not an option.
Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province says it sent an invitation to the Alberta Medical Association for a meeting last week. The timing is still being confirmed. It says it welcomes constructive feedback and ideas to improve Alberta's healthcare system. Waitlists for a midwife in Alberta are so long, many pregnant women aren't receiving the kind of care they were planning. While the province says it's working with Alberta midwives to make things better, midwives say the province needs to do more to increase access to pregnancy care. CTV's Stephanie Thomas reports.
Demara Miro is 25 weeks pregnant. When she found out she was expecting, she immediately reached out to a midwife.
Tried to contact one directly, and she was already too busy after 1 week, had too many babies in May.
She's still on a wait list, but she's almost in the 3rd trimester, and she's realizing she may not get the pregnancy and birth care she wanted for her first baby.
So I was on the wait list for Calgary and surrounding areas, so Okotoks, Cochrane, Bragg Creek, and still didn't hear back from anybody.
According to the province, there are 190 midwives practicing in Alberta, a 25% increase from 2021. There are 101 midwives practicing in the Calgary area. According to the Alberta Association of Midwives, 40% of Albertans on the wait list never get paired with a midwife or team of midwives. Officials say it demonstrates increasing demand for low-risk birth professionals.
From the last statistics that we looked at on our wait list, we had about 4,500 people in care with a midwife and about 3,400 that were on the wait list who were not able to get access.
According to a July report about Alberta's least common health professions, it found Alberta had a total of 172 midwives. In ongoing negotiations with the province, the Alberta Association of Midwives is asking for more midwives to be covered in the large cities as well as remote and rural areas. But officials add conditions are concerning. New graduates say they are considering leaving to work in other provinces.
We are very concerned that if we don't have good, sustainable programs and compensation in place for Alberta midwives, that we will see a loss of our workforce.
In an emailed statement, Primary Care Alberta says it's committed to working to balance access across the region while ensuring all Albertans can receive care from a registered midwife. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
The newly launched Canadian Fermented Foods Initiative aims to boost awareness of the health benefits of foods like sauerkraut and kimchi. One of the researchers is a scientist at the University of Calgary. CTV's Kevin Green caught up with her.
Raylene Reimer has spent years studying how foods affect our gut microbiome and ultimately our overall health. She says the bacteria in fermented foods help prevent many serious conditions.
And those are the ones that have been associated with helping to prevent some of these diseases like asthma, allergies, diabetes, etc.
Reimer says aside from yogurt and cheese, the North American diet has largely veered away from foods providing healthy bacteria.
So what we're finding is that our environment that we live in and the foods that we eat has become very sterile.
The Canadian Fermented Foods Initiative outlines a wide range of foods, including kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and kombucha, advising Canadians to put more of them on their menu.
Just getting microbes and microbiome-friendly foods to have a greater prominence in the food guide and in dietary guidelines for Canadians.
At Light Cellar Superfoods, Chef Alex Hamilton oversees custom fermentations, including some more exotic mixes.
Like this is the garlic, our fermented garlic.
He says his customers are becoming more aware of fermented foods.
They come in looking for it because they know that it is like a necessary part of a diet.
Both Reimer and Hamilton admit fermented foods are an acquired taste, but the science says it's a taste worth acquiring.
See which ones you like and then and try new ones, because there's hundreds, thousands of fermented foods worldwide.
Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Coming up, grilled cheese, please.
It's super important to me to, make sure that everyone's fed.
How many local business is feeding it forward?
2 really cold days with temperatures in the minus 20s, and then we'll gradually start to pull out of the Arctic air through the weekend. Full look at that and the rest of your forecast in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A new business off White Avenue is feeding more than just its customers. Cheese Louise, a dedicated grilled cheese sandwich shop, opened last Wednesday. It has a Feed It Forward initiative where, for a discounted price of $5, customers can buy an OG grilled cheese. A free sandwich sticker is then placed on a board for anyone who's hungry or in need to use.
Just our first week alone, we had over 50 sandwiches purchased, which was amazing. So we're hoping to beat that number every week and, just have an everlasting supply of food for anyone who ever needs it. The reaction that we get from people who need it it's incredible. It's heartwarming.
Cheese Louise says it has a no questions asked policy. The owner hopes the initiative may spur other local businesses to try something similar.
Good on him.
And I like
You can't say no to a grilled cheese.
To an OG grilled cheese. There we go.
I love a little, what do we say, old Gouda? Is that what the OG stands for?
Yeah.
Old Gouda melted in there. Take a look outside right now with the River Valley Skycaps, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right roots free. Minus 12 after hitting minus 5 early this morning. That'll go down as the daytime high for today. Minus 22 right now in Fort McMurray. It's minus 11 in Grand Prairie and Jasper. Red Deer still in single digits, though. Minus 7 right now, although the wind is pretty gusty in Red Deer. You've got 28 gusting to about 45 kilometers per hour. Some gusts as well through parts of east central Alberta. You had a wind chill of about minus 17 here in Edmonton, but you're already at minus 31 in Fort McMurray and into the mid-minus 20s. Cold Lake, Bonnyville, St. Paul, and Lloydminster areas. Now, Lloydminster, you're not included in this cold warning, but it is going to be awfully chilly overnight tonight, close to minus 40 for wind chill. In this pink zone, though, wind chill in the minus 40s. Some spots could get to minus 45 wind chill overnight tonight or early tomorrow. The wind chill will ease a little bit through the day tomorrow, and then again tomorrow night into Friday morning. It comes right back. Here in Edmonton, we'll see temperatures sliding through the day as this Arctic air starts to drop in. You got partly cloudy skies outside right now. We'll keep the cloudy periods overnight tonight, and then tomorrow morning should start to thicken up a little bit from Edmonton off to the west and northwest. A little bit of light snow in through the Peace Country. That'll ripple through the foothills and down into southwestern Alberta by tomorrow afternoon, while areas from Edmonton off to the east and northeast get some clearing. That clearing is thanks to the Arctic high that will really drop temperatures in east central and northeastern Alberta. That's where the bulk of the cold Arctic air will be. By tomorrow morning, this heavier cloud cover starts to press into northwestern Alberta, and there is a chance that we might see some light snow or some flurries by Friday afternoon. There's a little bit of uncertainty with the timing of this disturbance, so could be as early as Friday evening, may hold off until early Saturday. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to much more than a dusting to maybe in a couple spots 3 or 4 centimeters worth of snow. So it's not a really significant drop of snowfall. This is the significant weather story. Look at that Arctic air back all the way up. And then it kind of hangs out for Friday, but quickly moves off into Saskatchewan and Manitoba by Saturday. And this milder air continues to press east across the province by Sunday. And we should be back into single digits, I think, by Sunday, Monday. So it's 2 really cold days, tomorrow and Friday, and then a rebound through the weekend. You might take a step back there Tuesday with a chance of some snow, but back to 0 to minus 5 range for highs by the middle to the end of next week. So it won't be a really lengthy cold spell. Here's your falling temperatures over the next 24 hours from minus 14 at midnight to minus 20 by lunchtime tomorrow and minus 25 by tomorrow evening. Thankfully, the wind stays light at about 5 kilometers per hour. Minus 30 range Friday morning here in the city with a high of around minus 20. There's that chance of flurries either late Friday night or early Saturday. And there's that little bit of a rebound by the end of the weekend.
Thank you, Josh. Anyone looking to reserve a campsite in some of Alberta's national parks will have to wait. Parks Canada says the reservation launches scheduled for today are postponed. A technical issue is affecting the website as well as some other government sites. Reservations were supposed to open for Waterton Lakes National Park, Elk Island National Park, and Rocky Mountain House National Historic Site. Parks Canada says it will provide advance notice once a new reservation date is set. Still ahead, Donald Trump's pursuit of Greenland.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that.
Some clarification from the American president. Stay with us. The U.S. president announced a framework for a deal on Greenland today. Donald Trump rationalized his plans for taking over the island, saying the arrangement gets him everything he wants. CTV's Joy Melvin reports.
The U.S. president arrived by helicopter, appearing before business and world leaders, stepping up his demand to own Greenland.
So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it.
The president falsely claimed the U.S. owned the island, defending it from the Nazis during the war. It's Danish territory, but Trump wants it back. And now he's backing off his threat to seize the Arctic island using U.S. military might.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good.
That hasn't stopped Donald Trump's Greenland ambitions, calling for immediate negotiations with NATO allies to annex the island. He threatened tariffs.
We have no interest in picking a fight, but we will hold our ground.
The European Union hit back, suspending ratification of a massive trade deal with the United States. But after discussions with NATO Secretary Mark Rutte coming to Donald Trump's defense.
And when it comes to the Arctic, I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic.
Everyone looking for an off-ramp to this crisis. Donald Trump posting on social media he won't impose tariffs now on European nations, reaching a deal, he says, with NATO. We have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. The solution will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations.
It's the ultimate long-term deal, and I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
Trump doesn't say if the U.S. will own Greenland, and no one knows what this deal means. But after being pushed to the brink, a sigh of relief.
The deal here is that the United States can build up our military forces on Greenland, and there's a 1951 agreement between the United States and Denmark that prohibits it and permits it and welcomes it. That might be the off-ramp.
So from the brink of a potential military invasion to a possible trade war with Europe, some say Trump may have miscalculated. Others say there's now a future security deal in the Arctic that reassures this president. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
The Prime Minister was heading home from the World Economic Summit when the U.S. President was calling him out at the forum, chastising him today for yesterday's speech. As CTV's Michael Couture reports, today Trump said Canada lives because of the United States.
I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful.
The U.S. President with some tough talk for Prime Minister Mark Carney. It comes a day after the Canadian leader spoke in the same room at the World Economic Forum, criticizing superpowers that use tariffs as leverage.
They should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Donald Trump didn't say which statements, but Carney's speech urged middle power countries to act together.
When we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness.
Trump also said Canada gets a lot of freebies from the U.S., but it's unclear what he was talking about. Some Democrats say the comments about our country are unfair.
Canadians have followed us into every major conflict we've been in, whether we were right or wrong. This president has so disrespected them that they're now talking to China.
Carney wrapped up his trade trip to China and Qatar with a stop in Davos, but he didn't have anything to say about Trump's speech. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office told CTV News there are no plans to comment on the president's speech. The two leaders also didn't have any interaction while in Davos, which could be a good thing, according to this former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations to then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Canada will be well served to have a more dedicated, specific conversation with the president or his team in the coming weeks and months, especially on the topic of CUSMA as we head towards a review deadline.
And there's little time to waste, as that deadline to decide what happens next with the trilateral trade agreement is July 1st. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
In Toronto, a rise in gun violence connected to home invasions and extortion attempts has some homeowners looking for extra protection. As CTV's Pat Foran reports, a security company says its bulletproof glass business is good.
Following an increase in break-ins, Metalex Security Products developed rock glass, which it claims is 200 times stronger than regular glass. You can't break it with a baseball bat. After a rise in drive-by shootings and extortion attempts in the GTA, the company says it's developed bulletproof ballistic glass. Tom Reimer says there's a growing demand for it.
Will this stop a bullet?
Absolutely. Reimer says customers purchasing bulletproof glass for their homes have been victims of extortion attempts or are worried they could be.
What do? Are you going to move, or are you going to do something about it and you're going to be proactive? So that's where the ballistic comes in. And I hate to see it, but it's here. So we're heading into the gun range now.
We asked Rylan Morey at the Gagnon Shooting Center in Oshawa to fire at the bulletproof glass to see how it would handle the impact.
It is a 9mm pistol. It's a pretty fancy one, considering that it's not exactly what most of the criminals are carrying these days.
Once the bulletproof glass was put in position, Morey was ready to shoot. Then it was time to see how the ballistic glass held up.
Stop it! Sure did. I'm so happy that it's done what it's supposed to do. This is ballistic 9mm glass, 3/4 inch, retrofit. It hung into the frame, no movement there.
This does a more than a good job of stopping that for sure.
Now this is something you hope you don't need.
No. But for some people in the community, it is something that they feel they need, and we're here to help out.
Outfitting a home with bulletproof glass could cost thousands of dollars, but Reimer says for some families or businesses, it may make them feel safer and give them peace of mind.
Still ahead, buddy up.
Sometimes coping strategies can become their own risks.
A local company's call to action to men to drive authentic conversation. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents U.S. Oil was up 26 cents, closing the day at $60.62 a barrel. Gold gained nearly $72 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both ended the day higher, up 101 points and 588 points, respectively. On Bell Let's Talk Day, one of the key messages is if you're struggling, reach out for help. CTV's Andrew Johnson has the story of one heartbroken family and their message to others in honor of their son.
We're here at the BC Liberal headquarters in downtown Vancouver.
Long before he was a student journalist filing his first live hit, Hayder Nayani's mom knew he had a gift.
Since the beginning, I saw that public speaking talent in him.
Hayder's younger sibling, Saif, grew up wanting to be just like his big brother, who seemed to have it all.
He was the kind of person that you instantly wanted to be friends with.
Hayder was his Port Moody High School's valedictorian. He went on to earn an economics degree, a broadcasting diploma, and excelled in marketing and sales, but he didn't seem satisfied.
It was taken as he's a restless kid and he's an overachiever.
It would turn out those were likely early symptoms of mental illness. In his mid-20s, Hayder began to experience depression and was prescribed antidepressants. Last year, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, started seeing a psychiatrist, and taking new medication.
I asked him to move back with us, and he didn't want to because he had an excellent group of friends, and they were very supportive.
A few months later, struggling, Hayder reached out to friends and family, then checked himself into the hospital. He was treated for several days, then discharged. Only a few days later, Hayder took his own life.
I lost my child there for that reason. The system failed him and I lost my child.
One of the hardest things about it is that he did everything right. He did everything he was supposed to do.
That's the thing, I can't understand that.
Despite their devastation and the perceptions of shame around mental illness felt strongly by many racialized Canadians, the Nayanis are speaking out in the hope of helping others in Hayder's name.
If you are struggling with mental illness and if you think it's depression, if you have any doubt, please get yourself tested for bipolar, because bipolar can easily go under the radar.
They are also creating a scholarship for journalism students at the BC Institute of Technology, passionate about advocating for the less fortunate.
So people who especially need, a voice, because that's one of the things that Hayder was really, big on.
And making sure his voice,
so it's a tight race, it's really close, and
is never silenced. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
One organization hopes to keep the conversation around mental health going all year round. The Buddy Up program is a men's suicide prevention program. It aims to drive conversations between men about mental health. It includes several different initiatives to promote those conversations, from volunteering and exercise programs to random acts of kindness. The program lead says the high suicide rate among men is in part because they're socialized to believe asking for help is a sign of weakness.
Men may mask their stress and deal with emotional pain through harmful behaviors and actions, and sometimes suicide instead of seeking help. So often, or sometimes, coping strategies can become their own risks.
To learn more about Buddy Up, head to ctvnewsedmonton.ca, click on News Links. If you or someone you know needs help, the Suicide Crisis Helpline is available 24 hours a day. To reach the helpline, call or text 988. Still ahead, Friends for Life.
It was a no-brainer for me. I follow what the universe tells me.
High school classmates are bound by a life-changing donation.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Thursday in your morning, is AI already shaping your decision-making, the ethics of the controversial technology, and the appropriate way to support a friend if they come out to you?
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Most people say they would do just about anything for their best friend, but a Maritime woman proved it. When her friend fell ill, she made a life-saving donation. CTV's Vanessa Wright reports.
They say friendship lasts forever, and for Cheryl Flamand and Laura Fowler, forever started 40 years ago.
We met in 1980, grade 7, Kingston Elementary School.
And we were in the same class.
And we just took to each other right away. So she became my best friend when I first moved to that town.
Yeah.
The two friends from Nova Scotia have gone through many of life's adventures over the last 4 decades. In 2021, Cheryl fell sick with a rare disease.
I was down to 3% kidney function.
She needed a kidney transplant and almost immediately began her search for one.
Nobody in my family member was either healthy enough or had the proper blood type in order to be able to help out.
That's when Laura stepped in. A perfect match to Cheryl's blood type, she offered her own kidney to her best friend.
It was a no-brainer for me. I follow what the universe tells me, what my heart tells me, and what comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. It's meant to be said, it's meant to be heard, and I was meant to give her my kidney.
It was an offer Cheryl took 1 year to accept.
Because it's such a huge gift, it's like, how do you take that in? It was when she finally went and saw her family doctor that I knew that she was very serious, that she wanted to do this. So that's when I said, well, here's the information and let's go.
Last Thursday, the two underwent surgery at a Quebec hospital and are now recovering.
She just gave me my life back, my freedom.
It's an experience they want to share with others to spread awareness.
You don't have to be family to donate a kidney. There's plenty of people in Nova Scotia that need a kidney.
And you can still exist after you donate a kidney.
And in this case, gain an even closer bond, knowing they share a piece of each other wherever they go. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
All right, Josh, 2 days of the deep freeze?
Yeah,
3?
two really cold days. It's not like Saturday is going to be all that warm, but it will be warmer by the afternoon hours. Tomorrow, temperatures are falling through the day, about minus 17 in the morning, minus 21 by mid-afternoon with the mix of sun and cloud and light wind. we're around minus 30 there Friday morning, minus 20 in the afternoon. Chance of flurries Friday night into Saturday morning. Doesn't look like heavy snow, but there might be enough to cover the ground. We'll be in the low to mid minus 20s Saturday morning and back to about minus 12 Saturday afternoon. By Sunday, Monday, should be in single digits and a little closer to average. And then, by this point next week, by Wednesday, Thursday next week, we're right back to around 0 to minus 5.
Sounds perfect. Thanks, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca, or the CTV channel on